Okay, so Mariki not only brought her own fabulous content, but she also brought her own sons with their own content as well. So, could everyone please welcome Andre and Joseph as they talk to us about the making of Speedy Sedans.
Okay, everyone, how are we doing tonight? Doing good? Yep. Awesome. So, tonight we'll be talking to you guys how a simple statement around a year ago changed our lives for the better. That statement being Andre to me one time in class saying, why don't we make this a game? As he showed me a very early demo of what would turn into Speedy Sedans. Now, just before we continue on, we have dedicated time at the end for questions. So just keep them bottled up until the end and we'll be able to answer them as best we can.
Right, I'm Andre. 3 years ago, I started my journey as a software developer, well, a self-taught developer, and I worked on Scratch games, hoping that they could go viral. I created my own voice effects, published my ideas, watched tutorials, and later on, I followed my dad's advice, moving on to C# and Unity, where Speedy Sedans would later be created. However, I had one problem: designing.
Hey guys, I'm Joseph. I'm a cartoonist, animator, and for just over a year now, 3D designer and game developer. I jumped on board Speedy Sedans because I wanted to learn new skills and bring my design ideas to the table. The 3D assets that Andre had already picked out did not suit his final vision of the game, so I stepped in to offer my, at the time, incredibly limited expertise and help design this incredible game.
So, about Speedy Sedans. Speedy Sedans is a simple retro-themed game where the user navigates in a 4-lane landscape, avoiding sets of red sedans running down the screen. To make this game unique, we utilized a tap-to-navigate mechanism and simple UI mechanics.
So, we have 2 videos that we want to show you just before we continue. On the left here, we have the current version of Speedy Sedans that's available right now on the App Store. Just a demo of the game. And on the right is a small clip of a beta update that we're planning to release later this year.
Yeah. Cool, yeah. And next one.
So we are going to talk about how we made this game. So I used Blender to create every 3D render, animation, and model for Speedy Sedans because it is a 3D modeling and animation software. The reason we chose this over other software is because it has lots of many accessible resources and tutorials to learn the software that come at a very low cost. Another program we used was Paint 3D, which is a raster graphics and 3D computer graphics software. It is being used to make every 2D element in Speedy Sedans, such as the building materials and roads. It was also useful for visualizing key concepts such as the car design and the building's layout. Some errors I had during the design process was the 3D model file type issues. Like, an example of this was using object or 3MF files instead of FBX, which led to problems in the 3D viewer, such as like the material not being able to be viewed or it just not showing up at all. Another problem I had was just general software inexperience. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. So I had to go on tutorials and stuff just to get some basic general knowledge to, just learn how to use the software. But we were able to sort of get a loophole around it. We were able to use my very simple knowledge of Blender and integrate that into the general design theme of the game.
Cool, so what is Unity? Unity is a 3D, 2D game engine that helps users make their dreams come true. I utilized tutorials to familiarize myself with Unity, and these tutorials included YouTube's tutorials and Unity's own tutorials. Unity has many built-in systems to help the user design and develop their dream game. One of these systems include Visual Studio. It worked great as its IDE. For the costs, I used the free plan and built different games with the same building blocks as Speedy Sedans. I used the Unity Asset Store to help me make my dream game. However, I had a problem with the designing, and this is where Joseph stepped in. I did use C#, but since I'm in school and I'm self-taught, my code is definitely not worthy to be shown on screen. So, moving on. I used Loot Locker as a live scoreboard for Speedy Sedans players. It worked great and was free until a certain point. For account registration, I used Unity's GUID generator and assigned a unique GUID to every single player that plays Speedy Sedans. For publishing, I used Apple's publishing systems like Xcode and TestFlight. And these systems had to be bought as a collective package with their Apple Store publishing package. And we use TestFlight to publish betas and conclude that they are bug-free, and we published it to our friends and family. Errors. So I was told to use GitHub, but I ignored this advice. And on one sunny day, a day where I wanted to build my Unity project and publish it as a beta, it did not want to work. I couldn't. I could not find any solve to the bug online whatsoever. I tried resolving back to my backup folders on my Mac. That didn't work. Eventually, my dad helped me with the bug, and we fixed it. And after fixing it, I immediately did research about GitHub and immediately implemented it. So that will never happen again. For publishing, we used 2 subscriptions. One for Android, which was a $40 and one-time payment, and Apple, ironically, having a $150 per year auto-renewal payment. To help me publish the Speedy Sedans, I watched YouTube tutorials and I had no problems. In fact, this was a smooth process. The channel that I used to publish Speedy Sedans was MRM Programming. He was very helpful in describing the back end, what's happening at the back end, and everything that you need to know to publish Speedy Sedans, or any game, or any app.
Okay, so recently, as in the past month, we've taken to social media sites such as YouTube, X, and TikTok to advertise our game. Not very many views or upvotes yet, as it's still very small and we haven't really developed much content to advertise the game, but we're working on that. We also have more ideas to advertise the game, such as posters and or newspaper ads in like our local area, but we're going to implement that further into the future. And now, at this point, you may be asking yourselves, what is the future of this game? Where are we going to take this, and where is its final journey? So, currently, we're going to be, current plan right now, short term, is to learn some new skills, as in Andre do some tutorials, I'll do some tutorials, to learn some new skills, and later we'll revisit Speedy Sedans and improve it even more, and maybe we'll potentially start working on a new game. That is the plan for next year. Just push that off to the side. We're also going to improve our advertising efforts, and so that we can reach a wider audience and let more people know what we're doing. And we're also going to expand to other platforms such as PC and game console, because we want to experiment with other platforms, because not everybody likes mobile gaming. So, do we have any questions before we wrap up? Yes. Sorry? Sorry?
How old are you?
15 and 16.
Yeah, I'm 16, yeah.
When did you start?
May last year. So
when did you start your C# sort of and Scratch development?
Well, I started using Scratch around 3 years ago, and then around 2 or 2 years ago, I started using C# and Unity, playing around, yeah.
There are people in this room with more than 30 years experience that wouldn't put their code up on screen. Don't feel foolish.
Cool.
anybody else?
I tried Blender before and I understand your pain.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Thank you.
difficult at first, but then just doing the donut tutorials, yeah, that really helped, like much more than you would thought. Like I'm a very big keyboard shortcut guy, so just having a full list of everything I can do just really helped me out.
Yeah, cool. Is that all then?
So what's your plan from here? Is it to keep expanding on Speedy Sedans, or are you going to try and push out more and more games to get more experience that way?
Okay.
Yeah.
So a definite short-term plan is we are definitely going to revisit Speedy Sedans, and we're also going to have a definite plan of doing a new game, which, spoiler alert, is going to be like a 2D platformer sort of thing. That's just the main idea at this moment. But yeah, before we explore that idea, we're going to be doing some tutorials and just expand our general knowledge of the fields that we're in, to make it as great as we can possibly do.
Yeah.
Yes?
Roughly how much time a week would you spend on it? Like learning and...
Ooh, yeah, I spent a lot of mornings, a lot of nights, 5 o'clock in the mornings, and then I, like, whole days where I just spent on working on Speedy Sedans. Actually, I talked to him before how many hours we reckon, but we have no idea.
It's
A lot of
It'll
hours.
be in the 3 digits. for sure.
Yeah, a lot of hours we spent
And
on that.
for me with designing, it was probably about, I would say, 3 hours a day, or whenever he said, hey, do this. I'd be like, sure. And I'd be straight on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes?
What's the name of your company?
Oh, yeah.
And do you plan to expand and get other classmates like who have interest in marketing or anything like that?
That is a great question. So we didn't mention this, and I don't know why, but our company name is Gamesless Studios. It was like a week trying to figure out if that name wasn't taken. And for the expanding to other classmates, we have friends that do want to jump on a marketing team, so we might approach them for the later game. But for now, Speedy Sedans is just the two of us. It's our thing.
Dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That all done?
You mentioned at the beginning that it changed your life for the better.
Yeah.
In what way?
Well,
Well,
it gave us
give us experience.
experience, yes,
Yeah.
and a backup job field, and it also goes like well on a resume. Hey, I did this. I put time and effort into being able to create this amazing thing, and lots of people like that.
And to use GitHub. Definitely.
Yes.
Yep.
How much of the assets that you see in the game are done from scratch, and how much did you get from the app store, or from the asset store?
All of them I made.
Yeah.
All the 3D, all the 2D, all the textures.
Except for there's badge. There's like a badge system where you can get a certain score to earn like gold, silver.
Yep.
Those materials we got from royalty-free websites, but that is the only thing that we got. Everything else, like the animations,
There's a lot in there. So.
yes, and
Yeah.
like yeah.
Sorry if you may have covered this and I missed it. I was trying to get the
That's
stream
all good.
going. Is there any music? Or
Oh,
any
yes,
Yes,
there
yes,
is-
there is music.
There is a lot of music, and the way I created that music was through Chrome Music Lab. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. Basically, it's an experiment from Google where basically you tap a square and it gets colored in it and makes a beautiful little tune. And yeah, it's got 2 lines of percussion and 16 bars max. So it's very loopable and it's very bright and cheery, and so I thought it'd work well with the game. So yeah, I just put it in. And sound effects, there's lots of sound effects, I would say, and they're all like 8-bit, you know, just
80s,
that sort of
80s
stuff,
feel.
you know.
You'll have to buy the game to get into it. Just get it in the app store.
Are you looking for a marketing role?
Yes.
Moving from scratch to C#, what did you think of the move?
Was very interesting. A lot more syntax error types instead of dragging a block and all that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely prefer C# over Scratch and all, and actual it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Have you hidden any Easter eggs in the game?
On the new update,
Oh,
yes.
Yes, in the new update.
Yes.
So I mentioned earlier that I am a cartoonist, so I make comics for my local magazine. You might want to look out for it. There's a cutscene at the beginning of the game. I've hidden the face in there somewhere. It shows up for 0.3 of a second. So if you've got a keen eye, 13 frames, you can have a look for it. Any other questions?
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Andre and Joseph.
Thank you.
I look forward to the next game, and I also look forward to seeing you guys talking in future
Yes.
Yes.
at
definitely,
future conferences. Because
definitely.
Yes.
I love seeing young people getting into the industry and also presenting and talking about their learnings. Because
Yeah.
often I think people think about coming to do a talk at a user group like this. They think, I need to be an expert to give a presentation.
No,
But
definitely not.
like
No.
talking about your journey and your learning experience helps others sort of get over the hurdle of sort of getting in and learning themselves sometimes. So this has been a great presentation. I really
Thank
thank you
you.
for bringing it along, and you're welcome back at any time.
Thank you.
Moving on from that, we are always looking for more presenters and speakers. So you can come and talk about obviously everything .NET or development related, but obviously this is a very comfortable place to try out presentations. If you've got ideas that you don't quite know how to turn into a presentation, we can help you with that as well. We're always happy to talk to you about how an idea might flesh that out further. And as I said earlier, it doesn't have to be, I'm an expert on this. It can be all about how, my journey learning a thing or, a new technology or anything like that. So, if anyone has any ideas or any talks that you want to, that you think you might want to present, please reach out to Todd or myself. You can reach us through the meetup group. We're on various Slacks and emails and LinkedIn and all sorts of other places. Or just come up and have a chat to us directly. Once again, a big thank you to our sponsor, Telstra Purple, for the room and the pizza. And again, JetBrains, we don't have any JetBrains. We don't have the licenses printed out, but we'll give out.
We will get them to you.
We will get them to you. So, were there any interesting questions? Actually, might be a better question. We find often we have a lot of JetBrains lovers in this crowd. So, do we have anyone who doesn't have a JetBrains license? You don't have JetBrains licenses?
No.
Excellent. Well, you're out of luck. You can get our JetBrains licenses. We'll we'll email them directly to you. It's a one-year license for one product in the JetBrains suite, and they have everything from Writer, so you can continue C#. They've got a whole bunch of other tools as well to help you continue your development journey. We're also always looking for sponsors, so please, if your company doesn't have to give us speakers, they might just want to get up and say who we are, hey, we're hiring, or get your name out in the community. So please reach out if you're looking to sponsor. It can be in various forms, but often we just get sponsors to provide some pizza, and they can get up and spread themselves if they want. But once again, thank you everyone for coming to the June edition of the .NET User Group. What do we have next month, Todd?
Where is he? There he is. Stand up quick.
Next month I'm planning to speak on event orchestration with mass transit.
Oh, excellent. That'll be really good. Event orchestration with mass transit. I look forward to that one. So please come along for that one. I think that sounds like it'll be a very interesting one. Brendan has spoken here plenty of times before and is a very experienced speaker, so it should be good. But thank you everyone, and I'll see you next month.
Cool.